Kempire is brought to you by. We are so excited to announce that the Kempire After Dark, a live tour, is coming back. We are first returning to Los Angeles on November 20th at the Bourbon Room. And then we will be in London. Yes, the first international date of the Kempire After Dark live experience is coming to London, of course, because this is where it all began at our first meet and greet. On December 8th, we will be at Neon 194. This live show is presented by our friends over at AEG. So if you haven't gotten your tickets already, what are you waiting for? December is right around the corner. Every Kempire After Dark live experience is so different than the other. So make a trip, or if you live in London, come to the Kempire After Dark live experience. And just announce, Washington, D.C., we're coming back. We're coming back. Yes, we're coming back to Union Stage, Washington, D.C. Come out. Get your tickets are now available. Let's sell out all 3 shows for 2024 and the early part of 2025. We'll be in D.C. on January 24th. More information on all tour dates will be available in the description. I'll see you guys soon. You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. It's time. Well, you know it's the holiday season, and the last thing that we did in regards to re-listening to a Wendy Williams iconic interview with Whitney Houston, you all said, Kempire, do Mariah next. And I feel like Mariah would be perfect because this is literally her season. Last year, we did a special podcast episode, and this will be exclusively posted on the podcast before anywhere else. So this is why it's important to be subscribed. So shout out to our podcast fam. Hit me up on Twitter and let me know that you're listening to these special episodes as well at the Kempire on X, formerly known as Twitter. But a lot of you said I should do this interview, and Mariah and Wendy have done a couple of interviews over the years, okay? But this one is one that I've listened to multiple times, but it's been a few years since I've listened to this interview. So I'm going to listen and react at the same time. So there have been some moments with Mariah and Wendy over the years, and they've actually... Look, Wendy has said that she loves Mariah, and she says that Mariah is that voice. She has an incredible voice. But you know Wendy always, with all the nice things that she would say, she would also throw a little shade. And she would report on all the Mariah tea. They even had a little bit of a hiccup when y'all left Wendy for dead in Philly when she was on the line. Because I think at the time, Mariah didn't know that Wendy was a part of this morning show. And of course, Wendy being Wendy, sort of offended Mariah, and Mariah hung up. Okay. But that's not this interview. This interview is Mariah in the studio with Wendy, and I loved it. This interview is almost 20 years old. 20 years old as we go down the yellow brick road, memory lane with Wendy Williams' most iconic interviews. And again, be sure to let me know if you want me to do, or which interview you want me to do. It doesn't necessarily have to be Wendy Williams. It could be any interview that you want me to listen and react to in 2024. Let's take a listen to this one of the many iconic interviews that Wendy Williams has done, but more specifically with the iconic Queen of the Lambly, Queen of all things, Queen of Christmas to my King of Christmas, Mariah Carey.
It's very good, Mariah. What do you want? I have a drinking contest? A power?
No, darling, but you had more splashes than I did.
I know, but I can't, get
don't have a wine that we drink fast. We drink it to include a bouquet.
Whatever. I'm not that mature yet. I drink to
well, I'm only 12, but this is why I brought the food.
When she says get nice, she means tipsy. Okay, for those that this terminology for those of you that might be a little bit younger, might be like, nice. What she mean? Look. A little tipsy, probably a little drunk too. And what I always love about Mariah is she is festive. It's not just about Christmas. That's another reason why I think a lot of people, well, at least me, and this is one of the podcast and things that we did last year, was say that I think if you don't know Mariah, if you didn't grow up with Mariah, if you're not a music connoisseur, you think that she's just the Queen of Christmas, that she doesn't have so many platinum albums, set all kinds of records as a solo artist. But she is festive. She's festive all the time. Y'all gonna think I'm a lamb by the end of this episode. I'm not a lamb. I'm just, I'm a fan, but I'm not a lamb. Just saying.
And you know.
And I ate very little of the food because I wanted the wine to hit me like a lead balloon. I still drink like I'm 12. You know, remember in the very beginning when you started drinking at 21, you would drink to get drunk.
Well, no, I started drinking at 12, but that was a problem. We don't need to do that out there. Kids of America, don't do this.
By the way, I would like to...
And you know, if you read her memoir, okay. Well, if you read the memoir, then you know why she was exposed to too many adult things at a young age.
Perhaps. Kids of America don't do it.
Yeah. Mariah loves the kids. Shout out to all the affiliate stations carrying the Wendy Williams experience.
Shout out to all
The
those
show has unofficially been extended because unless you want to cut off conversation with Mimi, how often does she come by the show? I was negotiating behind the scenes for her to be on my VH1 show. I know that people have already been in touch.
Right.
It's not my way of trapping you, but just like,
put it all down.
and then this is what you do. They're going to leave it up to you.
You're going to do what?
They're going to leave it up to you to make up like a fun day for us.
Oh, and so can I do the lighting?
You can do
Can I introduce the show? I want to ask you questions.
Sidebar. Mariah is a control freak. She's an Aries, so she's bossy. Calm down, Aries. You know I love you, Aries. If Mariah and I knew each other, we'd probably be besties because all my female best friends are Aries. But you hear, can I do the lighting? She is the reason why lighting is so important, why people understand why lighting is so important. But Mariah is also more than just a beautiful woman. She's more than just a singer. She is a songwriter. She is a producer. She of all people wants to be celebrated for those things than being just the voice.
I think that's what people mean. This is what I really think your fans, so Wendy has fans. She's talking about my fans, but you have very devoted listeners.
Listen to this cover of the Essence
I'm
magazine.
trying to tell them they make your show big.
Look, we have only a moment.
All right, here we go. Okay, it's not about you. We're not me. Okay.
But Mariah, this is the first cover you've ever done on Essence magazine.
Yes.
Do you feel as though officially you're finally accepted as being a black woman?
But I feel like the title, America's Most Misunderstood Black Woman, the story only we can tell, is a really nice title. I feel like, in a way, people will know a whole different side of me by reading this. You know what I mean? Like, the writer, a great writer, and I feel really did justice to me. Because a lot of writers can do a story on me, and all they got to do is look up on the internet, okay, what did the last guy say? What did this one say? And just rehash a bunch of nonsense.
What did Derek Teeter say about you in here?
Who?
Derek Teeter. Did he say anything?
I don't know.
I thought that he did, and I just
don't think so.
He didn't. It says in here, though, that you were in an abusive marriage with Tommy Mottola. What does that mean?
Oh, you sound like you're shocked.
Well, because I'm not, for you to be punched and hit, I'm
Oh, no. There's a lot of different types of abuse.
Oh, mental.
Emotional abuse, mental abuse.
Well, you can clearly tell you were in an abusive marriage emotionally.
Right.
How wild you became after you got your divorce.
Well, I don't know.
Video,
But you know what?
One of those rappers include Diddy. You remember the Honey remix video? Like, I wonder what Mariah would have to say. Look, all the celebrities have been very quiet about the Diddy situation, but Mariah and Diddy, at least musically, they had a close, not even just musically, like she used to hang out with Diddy and things like that. But this is part of the reason why I say we can't just assume that everybody that hung out with Diddy back then actually knew what he was up to after the after party. Just saying. But Mariah did get very loose after she separated from Tommy Mottola, who Michael Jackson called the devil. When is Tommy Mottola's time coming? The Lord might get him before we do. Anyway, I'm kidding. Just calm down.
I was hanging out girls before, but they were just only allowed to be at my house. And, whatever. I was there. We love him. I don't want it to become about, I'm not saying we love him, but, we want to give the spirit of love to everybody.
Yeah.
And it's just the one that's a part of my life that existed. So I'm not trying to, say anything negative about anybody.
Would he call you an effing bitch?
Like, now? I'm sure he would.
No, I'm talking about like when you fought and argued.
Would he call you an effing bitch?
Well, and now, well, really, I want to ask you, would he call you an effing bitch?
No, he wouldn't.
Okay.
No, he wouldn't. But, sometimes you feel things and you're not necessarily saying, whatever.
Yeah. Well, if you say so, then we definitely, she's fine. How? What do you? Oh, this is from the Mean Girls movie. I haven't seen it yet, Mariah. Mariah, when I was on my book stroll shopping for my second book, you were out there shopping for a book, and we were going for the same price, and I just knew you weren't going to be spilling the tea in your book because you clearly would demand more money.
Yeah.
What were you looking for? HarperCollins is where I was. They said, "Oh, Mariah was just here." What was that about?
Close mouth. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, an idea that other people had, like, oh, what about a book? Because people that know me are like, you have an amazing story. You need to tell the story from what we see, and what, like, the people that don't just hear a soundbite or read a magazine. They actually know me. And I think you've seen me a few times. I mean, you know, there's two sides to every person. So it's like, yeah,
You're talking, Sybil.
there could be, hey, you're in that category too, sweetie.
Sidebar, you know, Mariah's memoir ended up coming how many years? This is their 2005 interview. So it took so long for her before she finally said, okay, now I'm ready to sit down and write my book. But we should keep in mind, though, she says in this interview that this is something her team then had an idea of doing then. Luckily, she waited because I think there's so many people putting out memoirs. I just heard Keke Palmer is putting out a memoir, but Keke Palmer's been famous since she was a little kid. Mariah's been famous, though, since she was like 18. But I respect the timing. Like, everything has timing. Just keep that in mind. I know everyone's like, when is my time? When is your time? Will happen, okay? Patience is truly a virtue.
But I don't even start. But anyway, no, honestly, I'm a multidimensional person.
Yes.
So it's like, I think that book will require a couple more years of living, and also just of, like, I don't want to do a book like Fly By Night, here's my book. I want to do a great book.
Yeah.
But the children's book is what I'm interested in, which is more like it was going to be like a biracial type children's handbook.
I like that idea, Mariah.
Yeah, so
Mariah, you said you won't talk about your love life, but you're of an age right now. What are you, 34, something like that?
Right.
Something between 30 and 35, eternally 12. I know at some point or another, I believe I've read, I could be wrong, that you would like to get married again and have children, have like the full-blown
So
family.
if I was they asked me, do you want to have children? I'm like, if I get married.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I don't know. I guess because my parents got divorced when I was 3, and I didn't really have a template for, like, what's the normal relationship, like what's a good marriage. You know what I mean? So, and that's nothing against them. They did the best they could, and whatever. So I'm just saying, after my experience, I would want to only get married if it was the person that I was like, this person's going to be a great father. This is going to be a great marriage.
Yeah, but you never know any of that.
Pause. So, you know, I had to Google while she was talking about this. This is 2005. She ends up marrying Nick Cannon 3 years later in 2008. Didn't realize that Nick Cannon and her were married for so long. 8 years? 7 to 8 years they were married. Wow. And she was married to Tommy Mottola for 5 years, from 1993 to 1998. Okay. Just giving you a little context to what she's talking about. And mind you, when she married Nick Cannon, that's when she ended up having them babies. Now, the twins, them teenagers. Did you guys see recently, she's touring right now for her Christmas tour that she does every year. And them babies, them teenagers at this particular point were performing on stage. We're old.
Mimi, and so,
but you know what? You can know the person first for a long time. Like, that's the way I am in any relationship. That's why people will be like, "Oh, she was messing with this one." No,
have you ever been pregnant?
No.
Do you?
You see how quickly she answered that? That's how you know when someone's telling the truth. Like, there's no hesitation, there's no giggle. We're body language experts, so. I know we're not seeing them physically in this interview. However, you hear how quickly she says no, with assurance.
I can't.
Well,
No, but I haven't. I'm telling you the truth.
When is the last time you had sex?
Oh, what's the button for that?
Wow,
You're already in the
world.
back.
Little kid's X-Man.
Wow.
Yeah, he's giving us the wow.
Wow. Define sex.
Sex with you and a partner in the bed, and you all working it out, both of you naked,
Not
not
define
you
sex.
performing for him. When's the last time you slobbed a knob?
Look at this. Look at this. She put me on the show just to ask the obscene questions. You're elevating this show right now. I digress.
I was turning 12.
When I was 12, I didn't know that terminology.
Well, neither did I. We just called it having a BJ.
Oh, my goodness.
You know what I'm saying?
Wendy.
When's the last time?
No, I'm not going to validate things.
I can never picture you having sex. You and Oprah. Two women. I gotta tell you something, and I said it on the radio before. What I'm saying is two women that I particularly, both of you, but I can picture both of you. Oprah, I can't picture at all. You, I picture fanning your hair back like Beyonce in my mind does. Fans your hair back and says, do me, because I am here to be done, like not doing anything. And maybe it's that totally 12 thing.
Get out of the belt. Get out of the belt.
Maybe it's all of this white, you got lace on underneath. Clearly, you're not on your period with all that white.
Excuse me. Wendy, you know as a woman that you can never know when that's going on.
Oh, they do here on this show.
What?
They do here on this show.
Oh,
Tell it. I'm on the phony.
because how you react, how you act.
Yes, and then I have to backtrack. But once I apologize, 20 minutes later, I say, look, I'm riding the cotton pony. I've got issues.
I've always been very shy about that subject. I can't believe we're talking about it on the radio.
Okay, but back to that. Okay.
She's like, let me not let her get off. This could have been such a good off easy morning. It's so like a little lie. No, just
one show over my head.
Wendy has changed her whole thing. Let me just tell you, when you come in here, Wendy is calling the shots, baby. You don't get to sit in the studio. It's like, sit back there.
Yeah.
She's got the rules on.
I'm trying to run my show like a business, like you run your business.
That's right.
Well, like my office, it's really pink. That's my favorite color.
Pink yet lavender, which is my favorite.
No lavender.
Well, we call everything pink yet lavender.
Oh,
that's like that.
Yeah, no, I'm a big girl. You don't associate anything purple because I think Barney. You see, that's my 12. That's, I mean,
because
you're eternally fat too.
No, you're not.
Yeah,
but listen, but lavender is not purples.
What happened to your clothing line? Where are the lavender bras and panties?
The bras and the whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
Panties and I never said I was doing thongs.
Let's see, I can't picture having sex or wearing a thong. What?
I actually have a thong on right now.
See, this is the Mariah that we don't get to see. This is why when I watch a lot of interviews nowadays, and I'm not saying that, Wendy was the greatest interviewer, but she had a different style. And that's why a lot of people did not like going on her show because they were scared of what she might ask them. But Mariah, I also miss seeing this side of herself be, playful. People that know Mariah, people that I know that know Mariah, they see the side. And it's interesting because, look, like I said, this wasn't their first interview. So maybe she felt a little bit comfortable. But she's also a fire sign. She's also a boss, so she's going to walk into any situation feeling comfortable, and that no one's going to steer her in any which way. So not her having a thong on. Wait, let me play this a little bit. Let me play it back.
Yeah. What happened to your clothing line? Where are the lavender bras and panties?
The bras and the whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
Panties and I never said I was doing thongs.
Let's see, I can't picture having sex or wearing a thong. What?
I actually have a thong on right now.
Okay, Mariah. Nothing ever sexed up with this girl. You're a big tease. You get there. It's just like I'm
showing him a little bit of this.
How's you doing?
All right, listen, I am not pressing you, Wendy.
Listen,
there's some men in the room.
Let me tell you something.
Don't even give me the house you're doing, because I know you were giving those moments last time. And
listen,
how you doing? I do want to remind you guys, don't forget, we are coming to Los Angeles next week, November 20th. We will be at the Bourbon Room for our Kempire After Dark live experience. We're going to be able to talk and say the things that we can't say on any other platform. If you've been to our Kempire After Dark live experience in other cities, then you know what this is. Every single show is different. So get your tickets today. More information on the Kempire After Dark live experience coming to LA will be available in the description. And of course, London. We're coming to your city on December 8th. And then we're coming to Washington, D.C. on January 24th. Again, I don't think I need to say any more. If you're looking for a different experience, or maybe you just want to meet and we want to take a picture, kiki, share some tea, all of that will be happening at the Kempire After Dark live experience. More information on all the tour dates will be available in the description. Let's get back to this iconic interview with Mariah Carey and Wendy Williams.
not. I need to hire you doing button about a few other people.
No,
okay?
never you. I have never, this is one person in the room right here, I've never said anything, there's nothing remotely lesbianic about you. I can't even see anything sexual. I'm trying to picture your tribe, Mariah. I'm trying.
How do you think that, like, some of the relationships that I've had, what do you think that I'm just doing nothing?
Thanks, because you just slip that hair across the pillow and I'm like, look, I need something real, okay?
Oh, my goodness. No, that's not really why they've all taken.
Can I tell you something?
Why?
I was at a clothing warehouse in this city getting some clothes for my VH1 shop.
Okay.
And I happened to have been asking about some of my favorite girls and they're doing.
Yes.
And really I wanted to ask about you, but I decorated it by saying, how is Lamb doing for Gwen Stefani? How's Eve's line doing? And I said, what's up with Mariah's line?
Right.
I was at one of one of your foes, according to the press, place. And they said, Mariah's line. And they laughed. What does that mean? They didn't verbalize anything. Don't put hands on
Don't you know that
anybody.
there's not only one warehouse where they make clothes? I mean, darling, yes, you a big warehouse. You might be doing things in Paris or Rome or London or, you know.
Did you approach those people about doing some clothes?
Does that sound realistic to you?
Absolutely not.
Then the answer would be
Are
no.
you doing clothes?
You know what? It was a thing that was brought to me. A lot of things are brought to me, and I turn them down. If you notice, from the beginning of my career through all the moments when I could have been like, let me do a big commercial.
That's right.
Let me do a big campaign. I'm an artist. I'm a songwriter. I'm a producer, and I'm a vocalist. I always felt it was a little tacky and a little bit money hungry when people...
Calling out.
I'm not calling out anybody. That was me. And maybe that was the immaturity, and that was the innocence of me being like, let me just be a purist.
And look, I hear this now, and I remember hearing this back then when this first happened, this interview. And yes, Mariah didn't take a lot of these deals. She didn't do some of the things that you saw some of her peers doing. But it's so interesting now. And I think she's trying to make up for lost time, or maybe she's looking back on the early part of her career that she didn't capitalize on some of this stuff. And I know what you're thinking, but she still made tons of money from publishing and songwriting and streaming and things like that. Well, just because you see people's net worth doesn't mean that's what they have in the bank, and doesn't mean that's all that they want. She also has a certain lifestyle. And also what probably has driven her, this is a point when she didn't have kids. From what I hear, from what you guys tell me, when you have kids, your drive for life and to prepare your kids for their lives is a little bit different. And she makes tons of money from her catalog alone, but she makes even more money from this Christmas, stint that she'll do for the next few weeks. And it's actually very easy money. She makes millions, literally, just from this pocket of the holiday season. And I know some of us debate on whether or not should Mariah even be doing this. It sort of like taints her, and especially when you think about who Mariah is and how she wants to be respected for her catalog, for being a producer, for being a songwriter. A lot of people of this day and age, of the 2000s, only know Mariah for Christmas. And I know you're thinking, no, that can't be. No, please understand. There are some people that just know Mariah for All I Want for Christmas Is You. We know that she has a long list of mega songs that she's written herself and sounded phenomenal on these records. But there is a sector of people that think that she just has this song or just has this Christmas album. But now I wonder, fast forward how many years after this interview, almost 20 years later, I wonder if her motivation behind that is to secure her children, to set them up for the future, because even when she's gone and her kids are still here and their kids' this song will be making money for them till eternity, honestly.
Stick to the art and not,
make a brand.
Right. And you know what? That was stupid.
Do you want to start branding yourself now? The wine is a brand, but it's a very sophisticated brand. This is limited market. Do you understand Jessica Simpson's thing? That's supposed to be you. First of all, the name Lamb, Gwen Stefani, Lamb, you're the original Lamb.
I know. I don't know what that maybe she had used the word too. I don't know.
And Jessica Simpson with the sweet sticky body crap. That's you.
I don't know what about that.
The edible stuff, she sells it on QVC, but she's got the personality of a gnat, so they pulled her from that. You see, she sells this stuff.
What in the Teddy Mellencamp? Not the personality of a gnat. Just saying.
Oh, very sweet.
I'm not saying that she's not.
Sidebar, fast forward, Jessica Simpson's brand of like clothes and shoes and handbags and things like that is it's worth over $1 billion. And if you really Google schmoogle a little bit more about Jessica Simpson and how she turned that situation around recently in order to make her even more money, oh, there's so much we can unpack with that. So shout out to Jessica Simpson, who went from a singer. See, some people don't even remember that Jessica Simpson was a singer. You probably also don't remember that she started out in reality TV. She was a part of the early years of reality television. But then she put her hand into this market of handbags and clothes, and now that's what people know her for.
I'm just saying, where are the clothes coming out?
You know what? I think it was a lot of these people, and I'm not saying that this is fact because I don't know, and I'm definitely not saying it about Gwen Stefani because I know she's been doing her thing for a long time. Are not in the studio producing their own records. They're not writing their own songs. I'm not saying her, but I'm saying they're not singing the stuff. They're not obsessed. I was in the studio till 12 o'clock in the afternoon the other day, just doing stuff, re-singing, remixes, whatever. Like that's what I do.
Is it hard for you to give up control?
I know some of you are thinking 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, she's talking about from being in the studio the night before, all into the wee hours into the afternoon. That's what she's saying. That's how they used to do it back in the day.
Oh, to give up control in the studio? Not necessarily. I had a good time with this record, The Emancipation of Mimi in stores April 12th, because...
Mind you, we're talking about the emancipation of Mimi before it actually hit. This was a huge record for her. And then she had like the song of the decade with We Belong Together. I just want to take you back to that moment. She's talking about promoting a record that we know in today's time was a huge record for her. Huge.
Let me see her lovely bag.
Because I worked with Pharrell, and that was really cool because we were in the studio. Nelly was in one room, Snoop was in the other room. We ended up doing collabos.
And as you're talking, I would like to run your Louis Vuitton bag.
Yes,
do you mind if I open it up?
Oh my goodness, she wants to open up my bag. See, look how God works. Her phone just rang.
Yeah, that's him calling me and saying, "Don't do that." This is obviously somebody not from here. I'm sorry, I can't even reach in my own bag.
You can reach in my bag.
I'm going to run Mimi's bag. Now let me see how many robots am I going to find eternally. This is the BlackBerry.
What would you find in your bag? I wanted to just ask the audience, guys, don't forget you can see a visual version of this special podcast episode on my YouTube channel. However, this will be released first on the podcast. But I'm asking you guys, and for the live chat and for those that are listening, hit me up on Twitter and let me know. Would you let someone go through your bag? And why not? What is in your bag?
I don't picture you being in any of that stuff. Were you in Paris Hilton?
Was I in her thing? Yeah, but probably I changed it. These are Ralph.
Kleenex from Ralph's out in L.A. We're on KKBT, by the way. Out in L.A.
Well,
red ones because she's eternally germphobic.
Right.
And she's got sweet talk. By nobody. Who's this by? Oh, Victoria's Secrets.
Yeah.
This is the garden color.
It's actually very good because you wouldn't think that it's like, it's not, I'm not pretentious when it comes to makeup because I've been with using the same simple stuff because it works for me.
She's got a mirror that says somebody has to be cute. And
somebody has to be the cutest.
The cutest.
And that's for you, Wendy. So you have to read that message, look at yourself, and just adore.
Yeah. You know what's so funny about you? You're for such a wealthy woman, you're a very simple woman.
Right.
I never see you walking red carpets.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I try not to. It's bad lighting.
Do see you walking red carpets. You looking like something else, like at Puffy's with that big Cinderella thing going on.
That was a girl wearing vintage ball gown.
Doesn't matter, but everybody made fun.
Listen to this part, okay? Look, everyone's going to have a P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Diddy story because he was a part of that world, very much like how Trump was a part of that world. So I know when you guys see photos with people that you were like, they were hanging out with Trump. Trump used to be a socialite. He was hanging out with all the people, okay?
They told me it was a royal ball, and I was like, Puffy, don't tell me it's royal. If you want royal, and you want me to and I had it, don't tell me. It's a theme party to me. I'm like, well,
chewing gum, a comb, 3. And so look, but they made fun of you as if I know it was the royal ball here. Oh, should I load it back up?
No, Puffy himself told me it was a royal ball. Shout out to Puffy, we love you. But the thing is, you did tell me it was a royal ball.
And therefore, you
Not shout out to Puffy, we love you.
a royal ball and got the royal brew from the tabloid.
I don't care if I got the royal brew. I got the most pictures, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Eat, drink, dance, whatever.
Yes. And you know what? And you don't work the red carpets. Did you even go to the Oscars? Are you invited to stuff like that?
I actually was at a wonderful part of the Clint Eastwood party, which most people weren't invited to. I did.
Did you go to Star and Al's wedding?
No, darling.
Are you friends with her like that?
She's really nice, and I know her, but I'm not. I wouldn't say that we're like friends to go to a wedding like that. But the party that I was at was your girl Oprah was there, and Morgan Freeman, and Clint Eastwood.
The most fabulous. How do you and Oprah get along? Fabulously.
Yeah.
I saw you cry on her show more than one occasion.
Yeah, she does that to you.
Yeah,
she's great.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And you do that to us. I got to tell you something. You've been gone for 2 years, girl. Yeah. You've got a lot of work to do, because I'm sure you realize that you can't just rest on the laurels of being Mariah from the past. You will forever go down in history.
You definitely can't. But you know what I feel about this record, The Manipulation of Mimi, is that like the next single, We Belong Together, not just like that, that's a set it off record, but like the ballad, people are responding to because they're really feeling like it's got like a back in the day vibe. But
no, stop, hold on.
What are you giving me? Oh, we gotta go.
You gotta go.
Oh, we gotta go.
When's the next time I'm gonna see you?
The next time
at the compound with the VH1 cameras?
I'm sure that's going to be when it is. It's something.
Or something.
Or definitely not on a red carpet with bad lighting, but
some place where we can do something.
Exactly. But honestly, I hope people enjoy this record. I hope you enjoy it, because it's a song that I know you personally, when I think about you and listening to music with you, you're going to like them.
I've heard the second ballad. The second song, the ballad. I really do like that. I like this Chickens and Ashes and Lotion one too. It's just
me too.
That's not standard Mariah.
It's not, but it's like, you don't, people only see one side of me. You see a whole different side. This record represents me, the real me. You know what I mean? You get to see all different sides. You get the ballads, you get the fun moments, you get the inside jokes on the song.
Yeah.
You get the high guest appearances, whatever.
Well, you're looking well.
And you're looking beautiful.
Thank you. And I wish you well in your travel tonight to Japan.
No, we're going to Paris.
Paris, always up for something.
2 a.m. child.
Don't try to make it so glamorous, because I've seen On the Road With, and you got to schedule
it's a bleak schedule. Nothing is glamorous. But if I could leave at 3 a.m. rather make some other kind of thing.
Yeah.
We did a hot remix to this where it's like that.
You did?
Yeah, we love you, Jermaine. If you're listening, we love you, love you, love you.
All right, you guys, we have to go. Mariah, thank you so much for coming by.
I enjoyed you profusely.
You are forever talked about here on the show.
I know.
Get to the bottom of that love life.
You didn't get to the bottom of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am. And we'll talk.
Little song.
All right, Mariah Carey is here on Emancipation of Mimi.
In stores April 12th.
There you go.
All right.
Thank you, Mariah. Oh, and thank you for my book, Matter of the Heart.
Welcome. Juanita Fun.
For women.
Thank
you.
She's a very, very amazing woman. You should check that out.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody. I love you for listening today.
We love you.
Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Well, no, but not bye yet for us. Look, fun interview. I love that we are flashing back to a time before the Emancipation of Mimi even came out, and she released it during Aries season. As you know, she's in Aries. And it went on to be a phenomenal album. Then she released, what was it? E=MC², which was actually a really good album too, but it's hard when you release such an iconic piece of work, and she's released so many pieces of iconic work. But the Emancipation really was after Glitter. And Glitter was such a fail because of a lot of different reasons, between the movie, between it being September 11th, and because that actually is a really good album. So I have some of my favorite Mariah songs are on the Glitter soundtrack, which she owns exclusively now. Okay, let me give you the history on that. So you remember she released that September 11th. It just flopped. But this was after she signed a major, big record deal. We were talking about Whitney Houston's record deal where she signed was like $100 million. Well, Mariah, right before that, signed an $80 million record deal with Virgin. She ended up not going forward with them after Glitter was a wash, but she ended up owning the masters to that. So she owns that outright. So Mariah, we love you. It is your time of the year. So to me, this was fitting that we even talked about Mariah Carey and we even talked about this iconic interview with Wendy Williams. We're going to continue to do this. I want to know what other interview, doesn't have to be Wendy Williams, what other interview do you want me to react do here on the podcast and, of course, on our YouTube channel. Guys, don't forget, we're coming to Los Angeles November 20th, and then we'll be in London on December 8th, and then we're coming back to Washington, D.C. on January 24th. Ticket information is available in the description. And as always, don't forget to give our podcast a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify. Ratings matter, very much like listening, watching, liking. Rating our podcast matters. So shout out to those of you that have already rated us. We appreciate your support. And let's continue this conversation on YouTube and then maybe on Twitter. All right. Thanks so much for watching and, of course, listening. Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio podcast. As always, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And for everything Kempire Radio, head on over to kempireradio.com.